a very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you very much for logging in. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking for you this evening. Well, first up, hyperlocal e-commerce startup Dealshare has raised as much as 70 crore rupees from venture debt firm Altiria Capital. The debt is expected to be utilized for expansion into several new markets as well as marketing purposes. Now, in December 2020, Dealshare had raised $21 million in a Series C funding led by Westbridge Capital. Well, moving on to the second headline of the day, Tessolve, a Hero Electronics venture and a global provider of engineering and R&D services to semiconductor companies, has raised about $40 million from Novotelis Capital Partners. This deal has been done at a valuation of $100 million. Now, this funding will be used by Tessolve to drive further growth through acquisitions as well as organic investments. Well, Tata Group Chairman Emeritus Ratan Tata has invested an undisclosed amount in Mumbai-based logistics company Mailage. The company plans to launch 500 mail rooms all across the country and fully mechanized warehouses and distribution centers in the next 5 years. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, energy efficiency company Smart Joules has raised $4.9 million in funding from a clutch of investors, including Raintree Family Office. The money raised will be utilized to strengthen the energy management team, enhance digital technology platform, expand presence across the hospitals, and also scale its cooling as a service offering for commercial buildings.
Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who has been in the public sector test space. I have with me Ashutosh Kumar from testbook.com. Thank you very much, Ashutosh, for joining us on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by asking you, over the last couple of months, it's been really challenging for the industry, and specifically from the testing or the entrance exam perspective. Have things changed on ground? What has been your assessment?
Thanks, Pia, first of all, for having me here. So I guess the last couple of quarters are very, very interesting because when the lockdown happened, and specifically for the competitive exam assessment, because when the lockdown had started, like say almost a year back, most of the exams had cancelled. The moment market opened up, the lockdown sort of relaxed. Most of the exams were sort of having pack-to-pack deadlines, and that actually gives a good boost to the business. So we had a hockey stick growth in the last 2 quarters. So I guess from the business perspective, that was really good. And again, from a user perspective, you see there has been a drastic change in the intent of a user, where they had a sort of a offline first mindset when it comes to sort of a learning or enrolling for a program. So they had was like, yeah, okay, if I go to the coaching institute, enroll for where actually you can have a live teacher interaction in the system. But now people are taking online education very, very seriously, and they have been able to sort of see the multiple advantages where actually we have been able to get the good quality teachers accessible to even the students sort of preparing from remote areas of India. So that has been really good. And especially for EdTech, I guess that was a good era for EdTech, where actually it has been accelerated for almost like say 2 years ahead. Just imagine if it would have come 10 years back, I guess all the student community would have a very long holiday, because at that point of time, we didn't have any infrastructure ready to sort of facilitate that remote learning. But now those things are happening.
Yeah, but speaking specifically about this whole space, that's the public sector testing and the entrance exam space, are there job openings in this space, considering the fact that, we're living in a very volatile environment at this point in time? So for students to be giving exams also at this point, do you think that avenues have opened up for them to really apply for these jobs, giving government exams?
Yeah, so I think post-pandemic, the government job preparation or the government job opportunity is something which has picked up much better than, let's say, it was earlier, because there is much of a private job opportunities exist in the market today. And even multiple state governments, central governments came up with the new exam notifications, and most of the notifications that government had already sort of published back, and those exams had cancelled. So they started taking those exams. A lot of results that were pending, the exam which had already been conducted like so the last year, the results have started coming for those exams. So I guess the government job sector has become more promising, even for the people who didn't have any like say vision or aspiration to get into government job. But again, that today a lot of people are getting fired from like say the private ecosystem, and there's not much of a job available there. And people see stability and job security in the government job sector. And then we have let's say the most of the new users that we are sort of having these days. So good percentage of people are actually the one who like say were doing some of the private job opportunities, let's say as a fresher or early in their career. Now they're taking the government job preparation as a very serious mode of career. That's a good signal.
Within the various products and the exams that are available on your platform, help us understand, which are the entrance exams that are seeing more students enroll for, and, among the list of exams preparations that you offer. So if you could tell us the top three exams, and also in terms of the kind of regions, like from where people are sort of enrolling,
Yeah.
if you could give us some color on that.
So Priya, we have more than 300 exams on the platform for which actually we prepare students for. That includes both engineering and non-engineering jobs, as well as central and the state government jobs. And the last couple of quarters, we had a few very big exams sort of lined up. And one of them was the railway exam, where government conducted the NTPC exam for the NTPC category. And and a lot of engagement were coming from that category. Then there were a few banking exams were also lined up, where actually we got a good sort of pool of janta coming and engaging with the product. And going ahead, there are a couple of SSC exams which are lined up, which will again get us a good jump in in that field. So SSC, banking, railway, defense, police are the major categories where actually we see a lot of people coming. And I mentioned about the railways, right? So railway had one of the biggest exam which was already happening, and then part of the exam is still left for the Group D. There, like say, more than 2.5 crore, almost close to 2 crore, or more than 2 crore students have applied for that. So now you can imagine the kind of the density and the competitiveness over there.
So when you talk about your revenue model, are you looking at mostly revenues from the students that are enrolling, or what is the kind of revenue model that you follow overall?
Yeah. So we have very simple two products. One is on our assessment side, and the another one is the learning side. So on the assessment side, we have a textbook pass, which is a platform voice subscription. You just buy one subscription for a year, and then you get access of like say more than 18,000 mock tests available on the platform across 300 exams. And then we have learning courses, which we call Textbook Select, where actually you can select the courses very specific to a particular exam. Like say, if you just want to prepare for SBI PO, then you can sort of enroll either in the foundation batch or in a crash course batch. That will be like say a 3 to 4 months program where through live learning, live tutoring, through a lot of other complementary contents or services like doubt solve, which is required. We sort of train them from basics to a level where they need to be for cracking that particular exam.
I wanted to understand, as we enter 2021, what kind of targets are you working with in terms of your roadmap? Are you looking at adding more exams under a fold, or what kind of diversification strategy are you working with?
Yeah, so definitely we'll be adding a lot more exams. So just to give you one glimpse, so just in last 9 to 12 months, we have added almost close to 100 exams. And the next 1 year would be seeing us adding at least 150 exams in our on the platform. And most of the exam that would be sort of getting into the going ahead would be more on the vernacular side. You can imagine the exams or the courses coming focus more on like say the southern India, where the Tamil Nadu or the Telangana, like say the Kerala or Karnataka. So a lot of regional level exams which happens in the regional languages itself. So that would be one of the focus. And the other focus would be primarily to get into a job training piece. So now Textbook is diversifying more than the government job preparation, where we are actually training people for skills like digital marketing, web development, Python, and then programming and all, where we'll be training them and helping them sort of crack like say the other private job opportunity which exists in the market.
When you talk about these expansion plans, I want to understand in terms of fundraising, do you require funds? Because in terms of content creation, preparing and creating this kind of material content for preparing for these exams may perhaps require some resources. So what is the fund raise plan that you have?
So I guess all startups require good amount of fund for the growth, and is very directly proportional to the kind of capital or the resource that you had, that you have. So we raised fund just before the pandemic. January 2020 was the time when we raised Series B, and we'll be sort of going to the market very soon for our next fundraise. And capital is something which actually help you accelerate the growth very, very fast.
And that's right. Just a final question before I let you go on the revenue front. what kind of revenue targets are you working with for FY22? And in terms of overall profitability, when can we expect you to be profitable?
So Priya, in last 1 year, our revenue has gone almost more than 4x. And that is a very super number because we know that a lot of industry struggle a lot in this pandemic. And in the next 1 year, we are chasing again 3.5x to 4x growth. And that would be time where actually we'll be profitable again. And then we have been profitable 2 times earlier as well. And we are chasing around next 12 to 15 months. We'll be having a 4x of the current run rate that we have at a EBITDA positive level.
In terms of absolute numbers, can you share what kind of revenues you're expecting by FY22?
So on a monthly run rate, it would be somewhere around, like say, 12 to 14 crore a month.
All right, and you're cashing in on that run rate going forward. On that note, we wish you all the very best for the future, and we hope that Testbook will achieve the heights that you have planned for it. Thank you very much for being a part of the Daily Dispatch.
Yeah, thanks, Pia. Thanks.
Well, time now to say goodbye. Many thanks for joining us on this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and stay safe.